Penske team. There's Raoul Boisel. Johansson sits just ahead of him. Let's get an update from Jan Beekes.
Raoul Boisel is really running first in class in the Lola with the performance of the Penske right now. Dick Simon says that he has not asked for one change throughout the whole duration of this race. That's unlike any other driver. But he says the big difference, the Penske car works fantastic in traffic, and that's where the Lola is struggling.
Paul Tracy just completed his 190th lap. He's averaging 129.8 miles an hour. Not nearly a record. The race record will continue to be held by Nigel Mansell at 158.8 miles an hour.
That is an interesting way to look at it, Jan. First in class, I would think Dick Simon will go back to his shop in Indianapolis well satisfied with his weekend, because they know on performance they cannot really run head-to-head on these short ovals with the likes of these Penskes. They're just too good, too fast, particularly over long runs with 40 gallons of fuel.
Well, as they run right now, if the race were to end in this order, Emerson Fittipaldi would clinch second place. Paul can move into third place with Michael Andretti to fourth, but he could still make it up to third. Robbie Gordon can finish no better than fourth in the PPG points. Now inside that window of the final 10 laps of the race, Paul Tracy, who had the race totally handled last week until a header broke on the car and took him out of the run, gave the win over to Jacques Villeneuve.
And this is also a product of thousands of miles of testing here by Paul Tracy. We've all heard the stories of Penske arriving here, clearing snow from this racetrack to actually continue their test programs.
Well, this is the way they're lined up, and this would be the points if they stay in the same position all the way to the end of the race. Roger Penske keeping track of his team. 194 laps into the record book.
There were stories this weekend here of neighbors local to the racetrack here in Nazareth who heard racing cars testing back in April. They came to the front gate and it was locked. Why? Because that's when Penske was testing the new Mercedes-Benz engine that he took to Indianapolis and dominated the race with.
Now the closing portions of the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix. Paul Tracy out in front by 5.7 seconds, trying to make up for last week. So many times this year he has been in position to win, and then tragedy strikes and pulls him out of the run.
And don't get too confident, even if there is only 3 laps to go, because the speed they run at, anything can still happen. Tracy is mindful of that and has tripped over cars in the past. But he has a nice cushion over Al Jr.
The battle running to the finish, if it develops, will be between Fittipaldi and Unser Jr. in a battle for second place. Right now they are separated with just 2 laps to go. 2 miles to run, and Paul Tracy will notch yet another win, the 7th of his career. White flag comes out. The final mile for Paul Tracy. Down the backside, Unser and Fittipaldi, neither one in contest as we're in the final lap now. Paul Tracy making that final turn in. And ahead, the checkered flag waits. Jim Swintal has it. And Paul Tracy has scored his first oval victory of his career. There's his mentor, Rick Mears, who was a master on the ovals, but still very competent on road courses, as Fittipaldi and Unser Jr. with no fight. And Unser Jr. finishes second. Fittipaldi will come around in third.
You mentioned Rick Mears. Paul Tracy works very closely with Rick Mears. They have a good personal relationship. Rick Mears literally trying to teach Paul all that Rick knows, because he was the master, particularly on these ovals. A successful day, not just for Tracy, but also for Rick Mears and the team.
And for Penske Racing, the 11th victory for Penske Racing this year. When we come back, we'll talk with our new winner of the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix. Today's This coverage of the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix has been brought to you by Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. By Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. And by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Well, the Bosch Spark Plug Grand Prix has run to conclusion. It's 200 miles, 2 yellow flags, no serious injuries. And unofficially right now, though it seems to be not in contest at all, it'll be Paul Tracy that is scored in the win column, followed by Ellenser Jr., Emerson Fittipaldi. Here is the rest of the top of the order. And we'll take a look down at the top 12 positions, unofficial results. Let's go to Jan Beekes.
We've talked about Rick Mears and how closely you work, Rick, with Paul. How gratifying is this for you, being on the sidelines as opposed to behind the wheel?
It's very gratifying. I mean, it's exciting. It's a different excitement, but it's great. You know, to be involved with the team and to be able to accomplish what we did today. It's a good feeling.
How bad did you want to get behind the wheel? This is one of your favorite places, isn't it?
Oh, this is. It's definitely one of my favorite tracks, but I haven't had the urge. I'm having fun where I'm at.
What kind of tricks do you give Paul? How do you tell this guy to do that? It was amazing today.
I tell you, you don't really have to tell Paul to do anything. He knows what to do out there. He drove a tremendous race, working the traffic. This track is one of the toughest for traffic, and he stayed out of trouble, just did a great job all day long. The guys gave him some good quick stops, got him back out. I was glad to see him get this one under his belt.
Rick Mears enjoying his new position. And then speak about enjoying positions, Gary Gerould is up in victory lane with all 3 Penske drivers.
High praise for Paul Tracy from Rick Mears, kind of been a mentor for you. Now in this race today, so many things to talk about. First, let's go back to the disappointment of Vancouver and Elkhart the last 2 weeks, where you seemed to be controlling a race and then ended up on the sidelines. So what's the feeling today when you persevere, you get through and get that second win?
Well, I think it's whole credit to the team. You know, we had a rough couple races, and I had a lot of anxiety with my wife having a working. But, you know, the guys came through today. We had all the motor in the world. The car was working great all day. I was a little bit nervous when I came up on Al to lap him, and he went away from me. So I was a little bit nervous that he got his car working, but we were able to hold him off in the end.
So much pressure with the constant traffic at the high speed. Now, we think that you may have been very close to the Fernandez-Villeneuve contact.
No, I didn't see it at all. There was a lot of traffic, and you know, but I've done a lot of miles, and I know a lot of different lines around here with all the testing I've done with Marlboro Team Penske, and I guess I could say it's just like another test, but with 28 cars on the track.
And you're battling, of course, for third place in the championship standings. You gained ground on Michael today. We don't have the final numbers right now, but I know that's important. But also this ongoing question, where's Paul Tracy going to be next year? How big a relief is it going to be to finally have a decision, which I guess could go until as late as mid-October?
Well, it really could. You know, I don't know what the decision is yet, but this I hope this helps my cause a little bit. We've been waiting for this win for quite a while. We've been in position to win some races with the Marlboro team, but they haven't come. But you know, this one feels good. First oval win.
Now wait a minute, I got to ask you one more question. The victory pliers the crew was giving you a bad time about. What's the story of the victory pliers?
I've been bugging my mechanic Scott St. Peter all year. He says if I won the race, I wanted his pliers, and he said you got to win the race first. And I said okay, I'll get it done.
Enjoy those pliers.
Thanks.
All right, Paul.
So Paul Tracy finishes in first place. It puts him locked in a battle with Michael Andretti for third place. Let's go to Jan Beekes.
Raul Boisel, today is really first in class for you. I know you wanted to be obviously up there in victory circle, but it's really a victory in a way.
Yeah, my car ran well all day. My Duracell Lola was perfect. We lose a little bit in traffic. Seems like the Penske conserve more the tires. But as you say, first in class, we put a lap on the field other than the Penske, so we couldn't keep up with them. But I think it was a good race for us, considering, we beat everybody else.
Dick was saying that you were having a difficult time in traffic. Is that what made the difference?
Yeah, I think their car is more stable when behind other cars, and so they don't need to use as much track as we need when you're behind. So they have more. It's easy to go around, and I need to find my way and fight my way to go and make places.
Raul Boisel fighting his way to the top. Let's go back to victory circle and Gary Gerould.
The other two members of the Penske team, Al Unser Jr., who talked and savored the championship last week. You started 18th today, but it took, what, 30 laps to get up there in the top 3 and to battle with your teammates. A lot of satisfaction, I would think, of being able to get through that maze of traffic.
Yeah, well, the Marlboro car was just handling beautiful today, and thanks to the team, I tell you what, all the guys did a great job on the whole team. I congratulate Paul for doing a wonderful job today, and you know, it was just, it was a great day at the races. You know, we started a little bit back, and that may have cost us a little bit, but you know, there at the end with that last yellow, we were right there with him, and Paul just, I think he was holding back a little during the race.
Emerson, you were up on Junior's bumper there late, and then the traffic played into it, but the important thing for you, I guess, is the fact that you have now clinched second place in this championship to your teammate. Tell us about your day in this 200 miles.
Well, Gary, first, I'm very happy to finish second at the championship. You know, again, Junior had incredible championship. Great to be second to Junior, and Paul had a fantastic race today. I mean, he was dominating the race, and he was going fast. And on the last yellow, I was right behind Junior trying to see if I could catch Paul, but we couldn't do it. And then I hit traffic, and Junior broke away from me. I mean, it was a great race. I'm very pleased.
The 5th time this year that these men have gone 1, 2, 3, Paul.
So first and second place in the PPG points are locked up. Paul Tracy and Michael Andretti will still battle for third place as we go to the final race of the season at Laguna Seca, California. We'll be right back. Very happy Paul Tracy celebrates his second win of this year, and along with his Penske team, his first oval victory. So they're still unofficial, but here are the final results. Teo Fabi with a very nice run, finishing up in 6th place, and we'll take you down all the way through the field now. Good run, too, for Scott Goodyear, winner of the Michigan 500 this year. The rest of the field, well, we have a very, very happy Jimmy Vasser. They said on his two-way radio that he was screaming with joy and ecstasy at the last laps of this race. So he apparently had a run that was fine for him. Mario Andretti in front of his hometown crowd, unfortunately, the second car out of the event. And Penske Racing continues to be formidable as we go to the final race of the IndyCar season. The team talking over their day, though they never got in close contest. If they had, it would have been a marvelous fight. Let's take a look at the PPG points right now. The first 2 positions are locked. Tracy and Michael will battle for third. Robbie Gordon can finish as high as 4th. Nigel Mansell will still search for his only victory now in this 1994 season, and that victory very possibly could come at the Toyota Grand Prix of Monterey, featuring the Bank of America 300. We'll be live on ESPN2 October 9th at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, with tape delayed coverage on ESPN later that night at 8:30 Eastern and 5:30 Pacific. So another interesting run here. The miles are still terrific.
And how do you beat the Penske powerhouse? Well, you build a better mousetrap. That's what everybody else has to do. As regards Paul's comment about his emotional outbursts, Paul, don't worry about those emotional outbursts. I personally think it's great to see the human side of a driver rather than the corporate perfect as you think you should be.
That's a thought that, by the way, seems to be echoed up and down the grandstand. He just calls them like he sees them, and that is great to see. So Paul Tracy has taken the victory. Coming up next, we'll have more racing for you. IHRA drag racing from Norwalk, Ohio, the Sportsman Series. That will be coming up next. So congratulations to Paul Tracy and indeed Penske Racing. I'm Paul Page for Derek Daly, Jan Beekes, Gary Gerald, Murray Walker, and John Watson. So long from Nazareth, Pennsylvania.